I watched The Night Agent Season 2, and here is what I thought. So in Season 2 of The Night Agent, Peter becomes a night agent. He is no longer answering the telephone, but he is on the other side now. So when we kind of first see him, he is on a mission with his new partner, and then everything seems to go wrong. His whole mission ended up being compromised, and he realizes that there has to be some type of mole on the team, because how else would it have been compromised the way that it did? So he kind of goes MIA, or like under the radar, so that no one really knows where he is, and he goes kind of that deep under the radar to find out who the mole was, who betrayed them, and see on his team who he can actually trust. So this is kind of where season 2 begins. And now that I have given you a little bit of synopsis, we're going to get more into spoiler territory. So if you do not want to get spoiled for season 2, you can stop right here, go watch season 2, and then you can come back. If you really do not care, or you've already seen season 2, let us continue. So I will be going through what I liked and what I really didn't like about season 2. Let's start out with the likes. So I did enjoy Peter's new role in this season. I was ready to see him be a night agent. He definitely deserved it. Before, we saw him just answering phones, and now he got in the action. Well, he did really get in on action in season 1, but now he was officially a part of the team. I wish we got to see more background into actually how the night agent system works or how they operate, because there has to be more than the few people that we see in the show. So I would have loved to see the networking of the night agents, because we mostly just see his handler, his partner, and him, and we don't really know too much after that. And all we really know is that they call the phone if they need the phone number, if they need help. So I wish we kind of got to see at least maybe him training, him meeting more people, him learning more about how the night agent works. Just from what I saw from season 1 and season 2, I don't think the person who answers the phone knows so much about it. I just think they're there to answer the phone in case something goes wrong and have to follow certain procedures. So now that Peter was in this new role, I would have really liked them to just dive a little bit deeper into that and see how the night agent system works. But again, I liked Peter got kind of an upgrade, a promotion into the night agent. Another favorite of the season was Rose. I liked that we got to see Rose again. I was a little nervous when the season started because, her and Peter not really together. He was on his mission. She was doing whatever she was doing. So I was like, are we going to see Rose? But she did come back. I do wish we got to see more of her, but I was glad for what we did see. So it turns out in season 2, once Peter left for his mission, they kind of never talked again for months. And I think that was because of how demanding the job was, and to kind of keep personal connections away, because it is a dangerous job. But someone kind of contacts Rose out of the blue saying that Peter is in trouble. Does she know where he is? And obviously she doesn't, but she was like, well, Peter's in trouble. She needs to find him. So she does all she can to figure out where he is. And she does end up finding him. I feel like in this season, Rose was definitely more a part of the team. Not that she wasn't in season 1, but I just feel like she was helping out more, just because in season 1, she was very new to everything, didn't know what was going on. But season 2, she kind of knew what night agent was, knew about her family, her aunt, uncle, was kind of able to help more. Honestly, she almost felt like a night agent with the amount of work she was doing this season and how much she was helping them. But we do see kind of how the past has affected her, and she is still struggling and dealing with the trauma of everything that we had saw in season 1. So one side of her really does want to stay and help Peter, but the other side of her kind of wants to get away from this, because this has been a huge weight and a lot of trauma in her life that she kind of wants to step away from. Another part of the season that I did enjoy was Noor and her storyline a bit. So Noor was a new character for season 2, and she was kind of like a spy, or kind of trading information for the US to get her family free. So I was holding my breath every time she had to sneak around where she worked, because she worked, I believe, at an embassy. I don't know the exact one, but in the US, an embassy that was in the US for her country. So she worked there, but she was trying to get information and give it to the US in return for protection for her family. So I did like Noor, and I think that was an intense part of the show of just seeing what she was going through. And can I just tell you, when they were trying to get her family out and the whole interactions and scenes with her mother and her brother, oh my goodness, it first of all stressing me out. Stress level was at an all-time high. But then when her brother ended up dying and they had to keep going, like keep leaving the country because it was already too far to go back, and then her thinking that her brother is still alive, oh my goodness, guys, it was really sad. I was like, I can't handle this. All she wanted was her family to come safe, and she didn't get that. So I felt really bad for her and her mom and everything that they were going through just to get to be safe in this country. But that storyline with the security guy, he literally, I was like, oh, cute. He has a crush on her. This is cute. But then as the show went on, I was like, creepy. And they kept kind of like highlighting how he kept just like touching her. Not like he would put his hand on her back, like guiding her, and she would look at him like, why are you touching me like this? I was thinking the same thing. Why are you touching her? But in the end, it did end up helping to kind of put him away because he was trying to get Noor arrested and sent back to the country, and they ended up using that footage against him, saying, oh, you knew what Noor was doing, you were in on it, and trying to make him look guilty when they know it wasn't really the truth, but they were making him look guilty because he was coming after everybody and he wasn't gonna stop. So I really like that part, kind of when they turned it around on him. I thought that was interesting, really cool. Another part of the show that I did enjoy was kind of this new villain that was introduced, and his name was Monroe, and he was the type of guy, like if you needed something and the price was right, he would make sure it happened. He would get it done for you. If you needed information or a task done, he would do it. No matter how bad, just you have to pay and he would get it done. So most of the season we just saw his like henchmen or workers. We didn't see him because he was the big boss. Eventually he was revealed to us and we got to see the man behind the curtain. I love a good villain. I love a good villain who's written well. So I was enjoying kind of like this villain who was in the story we didn't know about but was very powerful, and I was interested to see what is this villain's motive, like what is his end goal, what's gonna happen, what is he gonna do. At the end of the season, we do see he is close with a presidential candidate, so this man could potentially control the White House if the candidate wins. He also happens to have Peter in his pocket, or I guess Peter owes him a favor because he did help Peter rescue Rose, and in exchange for that, Peter now has to be available for this man. So, and I think this is all to set up for season 3. So I feel like Peter and Monroe and this new presidential candidate will probably be a big theme for season 3. That's just my guess. That's what I'm assuming, that this was kind of a setup for season 3. Okay, so those were the things that I enjoyed about season 2. Let's get into some other things. As a whole, I didn't feel like this season was as good as season 1. To me, overall, it felt like a filler season. It just felt like the season was made so it could set up for season 3. And honestly, it didn't feel cohesive to me like season 1 did. It felt all over the place while watching it. There were some parts I didn't really care about. Some storylines didn't really matter to me. In season 1, even though there were different storylines, near the end of the season, you kind of saw how they all connected. And I feel like that didn't happen in season 2. I feel like there were parts that did connect, and there were some storylines I felt like that didn't really connect to some other ones. I was really waiting for that moment of, okay, how is everything going to connect? I'm like, oh, this makes sense, this, that. I feel like some parts connected to maybe one storyline of the show, and then other parts connected to maybe a different storyline, but I really wanted them all to come together. I'm like, oh, this is how they're all connecting. And to me, it didn't feel like season 2 did that like season 1 had. And again, maybe they were introducing all these new characters, all these new storylines to set up for season 3. Maybe season 1 and season 2 were supposed to be kind of like different stories, and then season 3 brings them all together. That's what they could be doing. But after how much I loved and enjoyed season 1 and how well that kind of came about, season 2 kind of didn't measure up in my opinion. So after watching season 2, I would give this show 3 stars, and it's not even a high 3, it's more of a low 3. It was just average. It was okay. There was nothing really special to this season. I just thought it was fine, but just not as good as season 1. This has been renewed for a 3rd season, so hopefully that will be better. From the looks and how it's set up, I really think season 3 will be really good. I'm just disappointed how season 2 went. But if you do like The Night Agent, I do have some recommendations, and most of these recommendations are for season 1 of The Night Agent, but if you enjoyed the show as a whole, you probably will like these. So for season 1, it kind of felt like a bodyguard action type romance TV show to me. So that's what these recommendations are. So the first one I would definitely recommend you go see is The Bodyguard. In both shows, there is a guy protecting someone or has to look out for someone, and it does have to deal with politics as well. So in The Bodyguard, the person he is kind of the bodyguard of is a high political figure, so he has to look out and watch out for them. And how Peter was to Rose, how he had to kind of protect her and look out for her, is how this guy is in The Bodyguard. The second show I will recommend is more of a romance, but this one is called K2, and I don't know why this one popped in my head when I was watching The Night Agent. But if you liked the dynamic between Rose and Peter and you like the romance but you want a little bit more, I would check out this show, K2. This is a Korean drama, and again, it's more of a bodyguard romance, heavy on the romance part of protecting a girl and her family and things like that. So those are the two show recommendations I would give you. Again, I don't watch a whole lot of action, so I'm sorry these are a little bit romance, but definitely if you like The Night Agent, I would say Bodyguard, because it's definitely more action, has that political aspect in it as well. If you have watched The Night Agent season 1 or 2, let me know your thoughts. Was there a season you liked better than the other? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. I will leave a link to my website down below if you like some more TV content. You can follow me on my socials at ATS_MGO on all platforms. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, week, month, and hopefully a good rest of your year. And until next time, bye.